Today, I'm going to give you the 3 key things that you need to look at when you see orders come onto your phone with the DoorDash, Uber Eats, and GrubHub platforms, and how you can pick the best orders that you should take. I want to break it down for you today and make it simple for you so you know what you're looking at when you turn on those apps and how you can make the most money by picking the right orders while you're out there. My name is John McFall, and I want to welcome you to the McFallRI channel, where I teach you how to make $25 to $30 an hour doing food delivery, and I also teach you how to make semi-passive income. Today's video is going to be for those of you that are new into doing food delivery, so that you understand how you can pick the best orders that are going to make you the most money and that are going to keep your vehicle rolling down the road with food in your car making deliveries. So today I'm going to break it down for you and help you understand what you need to look at when the orders come on the apps to your phone so that you can make the best choice for you and your pocketbook. The first thing I want to talk to you about is dollars to time. When you take a look at the orders as they come in on your phone, take a look and see what the apps are telling you the time is that it expects you to pick up and deliver the order, because when you take a look at the time, that's going to tell you if the dollars that you're making on that individual order is going to be worth you grabbing so that you can make that $25 to $30 an hour. You got to remember that when you're out here doing food delivery, you're limited on the amount of orders that you can take per hour. Typically, you can take anywhere in an hour from 3 to about 5 orders, depending on which orders you grab. Obviously, if it's a longer delivery and you have to drive more miles, that's going to take more time. However, on the longer deliveries, a lot of times they will compensate you for that extra driving that you have to do. So even if you're only taking a few orders per hour, you can still get that $25 to $30 an hour because you're making more per delivery. So when you take a look at the time on the apps when it comes to picking the orders, look at how far it's driving. And one of the biggest things that you have to understand in your marketplace is you've got to understand how the restaurants work. I know in my marketplace, when I pick orders, I know what restaurants I go to when they are typically quick at getting me orders, and I know the restaurants that are not quick at getting me orders. So when an app tells you how much time it's going to take, you got to know your marketplace and you got to know how the restaurants work, because you might know that an app tells you that it's not going to take very much time, but you know that this restaurant in particular takes a long time to get the orders ready. So you can add another, let's say 5 or 10 or even 15 minutes to that time, because you know how slow that restaurant gets you orders. On the flip side of that, you can also know that when when an order comes in on your phone and it says that it's going to take a certain amount of time, and you know a restaurant is really quick about getting orders, you know that you can get right in and right out. So it might not take you as much time to get that order from the restaurant so you can get that delivery done. So you got to look at the time, and not only what the app says, you also have to understand how the restaurants work, and also how the drive works, because there are some instances that you can actually take shortcuts and you can take back roads so that you can reduce the amount of time that it takes you to get to places. So time is a huge factor when it comes to doing food delivery. The second thing you want to take a look at is the actual miles, and there's a lot that goes into figuring out what the right miles are when it comes to taking orders on these platforms. When I look at an order, I always look to see if it's going to be $1.50 or above per mile. Now, I will say that there are gig tubers out here that you watch and that you listen to, and everybody has a different theory. Blake Moore on Moore Finance, he always talks about the fact that if it's $1 or more per mile, then he will take it. If you listen to your driver, Mike, he likes to see around $2 per mile. So it really is a personal preference, but for me personally, I try to pick orders that are going to get me $1.50 or above, and typically I sit somewhere around $1.80 to $1.90 per mile. In my personal situation, I sit between $1.80 and $1.90 per mile when I'm out here doing food delivery. You got to remember that the more dollars per mile that you are making, the less you are spending on maintenance on your vehicle, and the less that you're spending on fuel. So the higher dollars per mile that you can get when you're out here doing food delivery, the less cost that you have involved in running that car or truck down the road to make the food delivery. So always try to get the best dollars to mile that you can, and set yourself up a standard that works in your marketplace. You know, Blake Moore that I talked about, he runs the freeways a lot, so he can get really dollars to time, really good deals, and he might be driving quite a few miles, but it's highway miles. So you've really got to take a look at your situation in your marketplace and determine what works for you in that situation, and try to get the most dollars per mile that you can, because this will reduce the cost on your fuel, and it will reduce the cost on your maintenance. The third and the final thing that's really important when you're deciding on what orders to take is, I talk to you guys a lot about my marketplace that is Fort Wayne here, and when I work in Fort Wayne, I have 5 different sweet spots, and these are areas in my marketplace that I know that I can go and get orders sent to me from all 3 apps, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and GrubHub. So when I take a look at the orders that are coming in, one of the biggest things that I take a look at is, when I drop that order off that I've picked up, where is that going to land me in my marketplace? Because if it's going to land me in a spot that I will not be able to get more orders right away, then this is not a good order for me to take. It might be paying me good dollars to time and good dollars to mile. However, it might not be landing me in a spot where I can typically get orders hitting my phone so that I can continue working when I get out here. So when you decide on what orders to take, taking a look at the drop-off location on the map is really important, because you want to know where that's going to land you, so that you know if you can grab another order once you get this order dropped off that you have. So take a look at where the drop-off location is in your marketplace. So the 3 key things when you're out here doing food delivery to look at is the dollar to time, the dollar to mile, and the drop-off location. These are huge factors that you need to take into consideration when you're deciding on what orders to grab. If all 3 of those things line up, then it is a good order for you to take. If they don't, you've got to take it situationally, and you've got to take a look at each order and decide if it is the right one for you to take at that time. You got to remember, the goal when we come out here to do food delivery is to make the most money in the shortest amount of time that we can. It starts by, when you get those orders hitting your phone, that you take a look at each individual one to make sure it's helping you reach that goal. I hope you learned a little bit today. This is kind of a video that was geared towards new people doing food delivery, and I hope that you take this advice and you use it out there in your marketplace so that you can make a whole lot of money. I do want to remind you that down here in my description, I have some great tools for you guys. The one I want to talk about is my metric spreadsheet. If you want to know how well you're doing on a consistent basis when you're out here doing food delivery, the only way that you can is to keep track of your numbers. I'm going to throw it up here on the screen real quick so you guys can take a quick look at it. If you look at the left-hand side, you'll see I always put my start time and my end time. This gives me the total time that I've worked. I also put in the miles, and then if you head to the right, you'll see for each individual app, I put the dollars that I've made, the time that I worked, and the number of deliveries. Head to the bottom, and you'll see it calculates out what your average dollar per hour, dollar per mile, and your average per delivery. To make sure that you're getting the most money when you're out here doing food delivery, you need to keep track of your numbers so you can see where you are overall. If you keep track of these numbers, it's going to show you where you need to improve so you can get better when you're out here doing food delivery. So make sure you head down into my description and go grab a copy of it for yourself. I'd also like to ask you to like this video, to subscribe to my channel. Finally, I want to leave you with, I hope that you are out there getting the money that you and your family deserve. And with that, I want to say thanks.